Most people don't fail their driving test at the end of the test. Normally, it's going to be in the first 10 minutes. Here's what examiners are actually judging. It is completely normal to be nervous for your driving test. The problem we've got is when we go from that little bit and we rise into the danger zone. Now, the danger zone is bad because that's when nerves affect our decision making. Now, the good news is examiners have been doing this a long time, so they are expecting you to be nervous. That's okay, particularly in those first 5 to 10 minutes. Your driving test centre is going to be one of two types. The first one is the typical car park. Now, the quickest way people tend to fail their driving test in this situation is as they leave here, they've never been here before and they don't realise this is an actual normal road, and they don't treat it like a normal road. They just look right and drive off. Don't do that. Instead, all we need to do is have a little bit of a glance both ways. So I'm leaving the test centre, I'm just having a quick glance. It's not a biggie, there's nothing there. Oh, there is something there. I better get out of the way. That's it. Just have a little bit of a look and you're done. If you treat it like it's not a junction at all, then you might end up having a problem. The other style of driving test centre you often get is one without a car park. When you park up outside the test centre, you would just pull up on the side of the road. Now, when the examiner asks you to go when it's safe to do so, your nerves are going to be shining, the sweats are going to be on. When we pull off, what do we have to make sure we remember? The blind spot. The blind spot check is the one that's going to catch you out, especially if it's a busy road like this one here. And the main time you're most likely to forget is right at the beginning, because your brain is rushing. It wants you to go, go, go. You have to fight that. You have to control it and say, no, I'm going to take my time. And then just make sure you check your blind spot. If you check that blind spot, you will have no problems at all. There is a very high probability that as you exit the test centre, within a very short while, you are going to come to the end of a road or some form of junction. Now, this is the time to shine. This is where you do not want to rush. Most important thing you can do is make sure you're at a walking pace. Literally, imagine you're walking down the road at this speed because it gives you time. It's okay if it takes you an extra second. It's okay. The examiner's expecting you to be a little bit more hesitant at the beginning of your driving test. And don't force a gap. If your test is at a busy time, expect to wait a little bit longer. That's perfectly normal. Now, if you're really unlucky and your test centre is very close to roads with parked cars everywhere, you're going to need to keep this rule in mind. Make sure you are always that doors width from the parked car. And this is particularly important at the beginning because, again, this is when our brain's going to play tricks on us. Doors width means safety. You can pretty much do whatever you want if you are a solid doors width. If you are anything less than a doors width, you cannot go too slow. I would say half your speed minimum down to 15, but it depends on how close you're getting. It's a lot harder to fail for going too slow than too fast. That's the important point. The best rule to remember in that situation is less space, less speed. Less space, less speed, and you won't go wrong. Now, let's say your driving test centre comes straight off a roundabout instead. Again, same situation, you are going to be at your most nervous. This is when it's really important that you approach that roundabout at no more than 10 to 15 miles per hour. This is what I would call a jogging speed. The main reason for this is it's going to give you far more time to think. Too slow is so much better than too fast. It's so much harder to fail your driving test for going too slow, particularly into a roundabout at the beginning of your driving test. It's going to give you so much more time to make those decisions and really think about things rather than accidentally pulling out on someone or panicking just as bad and slamming the anchors on at the very last second, because that's how we end up with someone in a bomb. Time gives you vision, vision gives you safety. So we're coming to the roundabout, I'm slowing right down, I'm in second gear, I'm going 14 miles per hour. I've got loads of time to look, loads of time, almost too much time. What am I going to do with all that time? Nice easy to make a decision, and then I can carry on nice and safely. As I say, the secret is to go slow, not fast, into the roundabout, second gear still. The other big problem that people have, especially at the beginning of their driving test when the adrenaline is strong, is their speed. Often people end up, the brain tricks them and makes them want to go, 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 go. And they forget what the speed is and they completely lose control of their speed. Every time you go into a new road, the first thing you should be doing is asking yourself, what is the speed? Now, there's a new sign on any new road where the speed has changed. So you should be able to see it. But if you're anything like me, you're not perfect and you have to use other ways in case you miss a sign. And what's the basic rule? Street lights. If you see street lights assume it's 30 miles per hour. There you go. There's a speed sign on that road there. Can you see it's 20 miles per hour? If I go into there, but it's right at the beginning, so I might miss it. Luckily, particularly if it's a 20 zone, you'll see lots and lots of 20 signs. And that's what makes driving tiring. You know, it requires so much focus. I go home after doing 6 hours of lessons and I'm cream crackered because I'm having to focus for someone else as well as myself. Same with people on the driving test. It's knackering. This is often why the driving instructor will drive home after the test, because the student is probably knackered because they focus so much on the driving test. Now, saying that, people can go the other way as well. I taught a lovely guy called Sammy. He failed his driving test, came to see me, and he failed his driving test for going too slow. What happens is we pull out onto a new road at the beginning of our driving test, and our brain sort of locks in, you know, let's be extra cautious. It's 30 everywhere, but we're just going to go 20 everywhere because we're going to be super safe. It's okay for a minute at the beginning of your driving test. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you want to be cautious, you want to be safe, and you're just trying to calm yourself down. That's okay. But you can't lock in at 20 when it's clearly safe to do 30 on every road. You can't go super slow, basically, because you're just delaying everyone. It's not normal. If you wouldn't normally do that, then you shouldn't be doing that on your driving test. So fine for a minute or so at the beginning, but don't lock in being super cautious for the whole driving test. A really important part of the driving test as well is how we recover. And what I mean is, when we go on the driving test, we do not have to be perfect. This is not about a perfect drive. In fact, it can be very much imperfect, but it has to be safe. It has to be low danger, very low danger, because danger's bad. Bad for you, it's bad for mum and dad. And lots of people end up failing their driving test because they do make a hiccup, because it's normal, you know? Leave it in gear, they stall the car, they forget to do a mirror, and then they panic. Lots of people end up failing their driving test because they make a little hiccup. For instance, they get to the end of the road here, they stop, they look, they see a car, they realise maybe they could have gone. And they sit here ruminating, oh, I could have gone. And then they miss another gap because I could have gone, I should have gone. Why aren't I going? The examiner's going to fail me any second. The examiner's going to fail me and I'm not going. Why aren't I going? And then, lo and behold, and sometimes they do even pull out, but because they've got themselves so worked up about this mistake, where I nearly left it in second then, that they end up failing their driving test because they didn't focus on what was happening ahead. Instead, they started focusing on what was behind. Golden rule, don't worry about behind, don't worry about what's just happened, worry about what's next. What's next? Always what's next. Don't worry about the mistakes. That's a good example there. This car, maybe I could have gone. But we don't focus on, oh, I should have gone then. We focus on, okay, when I look for a similar gap, I will go next time. Because that's normal. If I drive to London, I'm not going to know all the roads in London. I'm not going to get all the roads perfectly, all the junctions perfectly right. I have to let a car go in order to help build a bit of understanding for when it's safe for me to go in future. So don't replay mistakes, forward thinking only. So your first 10 minutes of that driving test are purely to make the examiner feel safe. You're thinking safety first. Not trying to impress anyone, just trying to keep everything cool. If this is helping, have a look at my test routes app. There's a free test route on there. It's going to build your confidence, help you understand what sort of challenges you're going to face, where the examiner is going to take you. There's also an online driving course, very useful for growing your confidence. It costs less than one driving lesson. As I say, most driving tests are not failed at the end of the test. They're lost in the first 10 minutes. The examiners expect nerves. They don't accept bad decisions. If you can control yourself for the first 10 minutes of your driving test, you are going to have a far better chance of passing. Love to you all and best of luck. Let me know how you get on in the comments. I am Josh and I will see you all soon. Boom.